Friends, welcome back. Here is our next topic of our CA final law, prevention of oppression and mismanagement. First of all, what do you understand by the word oppression and by the word mismanagement? Oppression is like exercising of power over other. You are using your power so as to dominate others and do all the acts in your favor. Whereas mismanagement is like the management of a company is conducting the affairs of a company in such a manner that it is prejudicial to the interest of a company, or where there is any change in the management which is resulting into the mismanagement of company's affairs. Come, let's quickly go through this chapter and we'll complete it today. See here, a simple example has been given to you. Imagine a situation of a company, Rexagon Private Limited, which has 7 shareholders: Abhishek, Archit, Ankur, Anupam, Himanshu, Manas, and Ranjan. Out of these, Abhishek, Archit, and Ankur hold around 94% of shares of a company. Now, at the general meeting of a company, when any resolution is required to be passed, ordinary or special, the resolution shall be passed in the favor if these 3 people vote in the favor of resolution, since they form a majority. Therefore, the voice of minority shareholders, Anupam, Himanshu, Manas, and Ranjan, won't be heard. This is because the corporate law works on the principle of democracy, and it becomes more vulnerable because it is reckoned with the number of shares and not the number of individuals involved. This is known as the famous rule of majority. This is what we call it as rule of majority, or this is also called as Foss and Harbottle rule. Foss versus Harbottle rule. So in your questions, MCQ may be asked on this particular point, rule of majority or Foss versus Harbottle rule. So keep this in your mind. Hope you got what do you mean by oppression. However, the said rule has 4 exceptions, which are as follows: ultra-virus or illegal acts, transactions requiring special majorities, personal rights, and the fraud on the minority exception. This chapter focuses on the last exception as mentioned above. So it is saying that this chapter mainly focuses on minority shareholders or minority people who are involved in the company. Now let's understand the meaning of oppression. Oppression is explained by Lord Copper in a Scottish case, Elder versus Elder and Watson Limited, wherein he said that the conduct of complained of should at least involve a visible departure from the standards of their dealing and violation of conditions of fair play on which every shareholder who entrusts his money to company is entitled to rely. It is simply saying that the persons who are with majority share stake are using their power in their favor, and they are violating the fair rules of the company, fair rules of the play, because all the shareholders has invested their money in the company. So every decision which is relating to the company has to be taken care by all the, so every person has the right to speak. But oppression is a case where the majority shareholders are using their power and they are oppressing the minority shareholders. So the complaining member must show that he is suffering from oppression in his capacity as a member and not in any other capacity. As a member, you should say where you are being oppressed. How Act explained oppression and mismanagement. The Act defines that if affairs of a company have been conducted prejudicial to public interest or oppressive to any member or prejudicial to the interest of a company, there is a case of oppression or mismanagement. Any material change that has taken place in the management or control of a company, and that by reason of such change, it is likely that the affairs of a company will be conducted prejudicial to the interest of its members, that would be considered as oppression or mismanagement. So the act mainly explained these two things wherein there can be a case of oppression or mismanagement. Application to tribunal for relief in cases of oppression, that is section number 241. So this section seeks to provide the circumstances in which application can be made to tribunal by a member of a company or by the central government for relief in cases where oppression and mismanagement in the affairs of a company. Check out what are the rights of a member. Right to apply by a member. Any member of a company who complains that affairs of a company are conducted in a manner prejudicial to public interest or prejudicial to the interests of a company or oppressive to him, or any change or material change that is been involved in the management has brought such oppression, such disturbances in the management of a company. So either it is relating to public interest or the member himself or to the company, or any change in management resulting in change of shareholding which may result into oppression or mismanagement. So these are the cases where the member has a right to apply. Section 241 addresses complaints on the conduct of company's affairs which could be prejudicial to public interest and prejudicial or oppressive to the members of the company. That is what is explaining here. The central government may suo motu to apply to the tribunal. The central government sometimes feels that the affairs of a company are conducted in prejudicial to the interest of public. Then the central government may by itself suo motu can apply to the tribunal for relief. Okay, come, let's move on. These are the few examples which has been given in our study material where these circumstances should not be treated as oppression or mismanagement. Please go through it slowly in your study material. These are few points. I'll be discussing this main point. Failure to declare dividend does not amount to oppression. Thomas Watson VJ versus Hutanand Robber Company Limited. So if a company fails to declare dividend, then that cannot be treated as oppression. Hope you are clear. A shareholder died. A petition was filed by his legal heir who was in the position of minority shareholder. Can the application filed by legal heir to the tribunal be maintainable in the court? Yes. The legal heir of a deceased shareholder with minority status is entitled to file the petition. Okay. Right to apply under section 241, which is discussed under section 244. Who can apply? Members having right to apply. The following members of a company shall have the right to apply under section 241. It is saying, in case of a company having a shareholder, not less than 100 members of a company or not less than 1/10 of total number of members. So if you are having 1000 shareholders in a company with a share capital, then at least 100 or 1/10 of total shareholders. 1/10 means 1000 mein 1/10 means it is also coming to 100. Let's take it as 2000. So at least 100 shareholders or 1/10 of total shareholders. In our example, it is 2000. 2000 mein 1/10, it is 200. So whichever is less can apply to tribunal, and these members have the right to apply to the tribunal. But remember, while applying, you have the required number of members to file to the tribunal. But after applying, if any few of the members have dropped down and the number has fallen below 100 or the 200 in our example, as the case may be, then the case filed original is valid. The validity of such case is not determined or not dependent upon the number of persons still exist with the case till the end. Hope you are clear. In case of company not having a share capital not less than 1/5 of total members of a member, total number of members. Means if there is no share capital, then if your total members are there, in that 1/5 has to be there to file a case. Provided that the tribunal may on an application made to it in this behalf waive all or any of the requirements specified. So the tribunal may waive off any of the conditions that has been prescribed. That is nothing but this 1/10 or 100, and in case of non having share capital, that is 1/5. So you please remember these two conditions which has been given in our section 244. Then comes check. Here it has been given like a tree structure. It is very simple to understand. Right to apply under section 241, which has been given under section 244. Okay, having share capital, whichever is less 100 members, or 1/10 of total members, or 1/10 of total issued capital, whichever is less, or where in case of a company not having share capital, then 1/5 of total number of members. Hope you are clear with this point. And there has been few illustrations which has been given to us to understand this particular topic. And what are the powers of tribunal? It can pass order. Order passed by tribunal if on an application made under section 241, the tribunal is of the opinion that company's affairs has been conducted in a manner prejudicial or oppressive to the member or public interest or to the interest of the company, and that to wind up the company would unfairly prejudice such members or member would justify the making of winding up order on the ground that it would just and equitable to the company should be wound up. The tribunal may, with a view to bring to an end of the matter complained of, make such order as it deem fit. It is saying that the tribunal agreed that the affairs of a company are conducted in prejudicial manner and it is oppressive to the members. And the tribunal has also found that winding up of a company will be an unfair justice to the people. Then the tribunal may make or may direct the persons in such a way that it is favorable in both the cases, that the company's affairs are being conducted properly and the company is not wound up and all the members who have applied for has fairly justified. Nature of orders that can be passed by the tribunal. Without prejudice to the generality of the powers under subsection 1, an order may provide for regulation of conduct of a company in future, conduct of affairs of company in future, purchase of shares or interest of any members of a company by another member thereof. In case of purchase of its shares by the company, the consequent reduction of its share capital, restriction on the transfer or allotment of shares, the termination, setting aside, or modification of any agreement howsoever arrived at between the company and the managing director or any other director or manager upon such terms and conditions which in the view of a tribunal be just and equitable in the circumstances of a case. The termination, setting aside of any agreement between the company and any person as referred to in clause E, provided that no such agreement shall be terminated, set aside, or modified except after due notice and after obtaining the consent of the parties concerned. The setting aside of any transfer, delivery of goods, payment, execution, or other act relating to property made or done against the company within 3 months before the date of application under this section be deemed in his insolvency to be a fraudulent preference. Removal of managing director, manager, or any of the directors of a company. So it is simply saying that these are the few powers, these are the few nature of orders that can be given, that it can order for true and fair conduct of affairs of company. It can order for cancellation of any agreements which indirectly in case of insolvency will be a preferential. It has been said no here, fraudulent preference has been given to any person, and it can even restrict on transfer of shares. In case of a buyback, the company should reduce its share capital. These are the few nature of orders that the tribunal can get. It can even set aside the orders, set aside the agreements that has been made between the company and managing directors and other people which are prejudicial, but after giving reasonable notice or due notice to both the parties concerned. Recovery of any undue gains made by the managing director, and any number of persons or directors has been appointed, then such illegal appointments has to be cancelled, and the tribunal by order appoint such number of persons as required as deemed fit, and in imposition of cost as may be deemed fit by the tribunal. It can say that you have gained illegal amount, repay it back, and if the person appealed has suffered any loss, then those loss has to be borne by the company. Any other matter as a tribunal deemed just and equitable. Filing the copy of order of the tribunal. Whenever a copy of order has been received, then such order has to be filed with the register within 30 days. And the tribunal may also give interim order. It means before giving the final order, the tribunal may also give interim order and ask the company to follow such order. Alteration through order of the tribunal. Where an order of tribunal makes any alteration in the memorandum or articles of a company, notwithstanding any other provision of this act, the company shall not have the power, except to the extent permitted in the order, to make, without the leave of tribunal, any alteration whatsoever which is inconsistent with the order, either in the memorandum or articles. It is saying that if a tribunal has by order altered any of the clauses in the memorandum of association or articles of association, then the company should not alter those things except with the prior permission of the tribunal. Punishment in case of contravention. If a company contravenes the provisions as per subsection 5, the company shall be punishable with fine not less than 1 lakh rupees, which may extend to 25 lakh rupees, and every officer in default. Imprisonment may extend up to 6 months and with a fine not less than 25,000 rupees, which may extend up to 1 lakh, which or both. For company, 1 lakh rupee, 25 lakh rupee, up to. Minimum is 1 lakh, maximum it can go up to 25 lakhs. For person involved, imprisonment up to 6 months, fine 25,000 or 1 lakh, or both imprisonment and fine. Altered provision shall apply. In case the tribunal by order has changed any clauses in memorandum or articles, then such altered provisions will come into force, but not the previous one. Certified copy of attested order shall be filed with the register within 30 days. In case tribunal has changed any of the clauses of your memorandum or articles, then the certified copy has to be filed with the register within 30 days. Then comes consequences of termination or modification of certain agreements. We have seen in the previous question, section 242, the tribunal may terminate any of the agreements that has been entered by the company, which results in oppression or mismanagement. Let's go through what are the consequences of it. Where an order made under section 242 terminates, set aside, or modifies any agreement, such order shall not give rise to any claims whatever against the company by any person for damages or for compensation for loss of office or in any other respect, either in pursuance of the agreement or otherwise. No managing director or other director or manager whose agreement is so terminated for a period of 5 years from the date of the order terminating or setting aside the agreement without the leave of tribunal be appointed as managing director or manager of a company, provided that the tribunal shall not grant leave under this clause unless notice of intention to apply for leave has been served on the central government and the central government has been given a reasonable opportunity of being heard in the matter. It is saying as per section 242, the tribunal can set aside any agreement, and in case of such agreements, no compensation or no loss of office has to be claimed against the company, because it is a tribunal which has by order set aside those agreements. And if any person has lost his office because of tribunal order, then he should not claim for loss of office, compensation for loss of office. That is what is given. If any person has been removed as a managing director, director or manager of a company, and he shall not be appointed as director, managing director or manager up to a period of 5 years. And if such person has to be appointed, wanted to be appointed as manager or director, then a special leave permission has to be taken from the central government. And if the central government, after giving reasonable opportunity, and if it feels it is reasonable to grant leave, then it will grant a leave. Penalty: any person who knowingly acts as a manager or director in contravention to clause B of subsection 1, and every other director of a company who is knowingly a party to such contravention shall be punishable with imprisonment which may extend to 6 months with a fine of up to 5 lakhs or both. It is saying if any person knowingly does any acts, it is like if a person, he already knows that he is forbidden by tribunal not to act as a director, but he intentionally hided that matter from the company and he has been appointed as a director, then such person has to be punished with imprisonment up to 6 months and fine which may extend up to 5 lakhs or both. It is at the discretion of the tribunal. And then class action. Class action is nothing but it is an action taken by a particular class of members. Either it is preference shareholders, debentures, bonds, whatever. Okay, section 245. This can be asked in MCQs. Read each and every point carefully. Class action. According to section 245, filing of application before the tribunal on behalf of members or depositors. Such number of members or member depositors or deposit or any class of them, as the case may be, if they are of the opinion that the management or conduct of affairs of a company are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to the interest of a company, file an application before the tribunal on behalf of the members or depositors for seeking all or any of the following orders. It is like if any particular class of members of company feels that the conduct of affairs of company are being mismanaged, then they may seek for order relating to restrain the company from committing any act which is ultra-vires the articles or memorandum, restrain the company from committing breach of any provision of company's memorandum and articles, to declare a resolution altering the memorandum or articles of a company as void if the resolution was passed by suppression of material facts or obtained by misstatement to the members, restrain the company and its director from acting on such resolution, restrain the company from doing any act which is contrary to the provisions of the act or any other law for the time being in force, restrain the company from taking action contrary to any resolution passed by members, claim for damages or compensation or demand any other suitable action from or against the company for any fraudulent or unlawful or wrongful act or omission or conduct, auditor including audit firm of a company for any improper or misleading statement, and any expert or advisor for any incorrect or misleading statement, to seek any other remedy as the tribunal may deem fit. It is saying that these class of members of a company may ask to stop any resolution and stop any resolution to be passed which is otherwise a memorandum or articles, stop the company from acting in such a way that it is against the acts that are being in force, and because of the unlawful or fraudulent or wrongful acts that are conducted by the company, if there are any claims like punishment, sorry, what do you call, damages, compensations, or demand any suitable actions has to be taken. So these class of members are asking for justice, that these are the acts which are being wrongfully conducted by the company, and they are requesting the tribunal to pass an order in such a way that these acts shall not be carried forward, and this has to be treated as void. And in case of any damages or compensation, the particular person who is responsible for making, who is knowingly a party to such wrongful act, has to be punished. Hope you are clear. And the required number of members to apply, even here it is 100 members and not less than such percentage of total number of members. See, this is the major difference between section 244 and this 245. 245 clearly says that it is 100 members or 1/10 of total members or 1/10 of total shareholding. But here it is saying 100 members or not less than such percentage of total members, whichever is less, and not less than such percentage of total share capital. It is not clearly specifying what is the percentage. And in case of not having share capital, then 1/5 of total members. Hope you are clear. The requisite number of depositors provided shall not be less than 100 depositors or not less than such percentage of total depositors as per be prescribed, whichever is less. I hope you are clear with this point. Requirement for consideration of application. In considering an application, the tribunal shall take into account the following. The tribunal has to check these points before accepting any application. Come, let's go through what are the points that the tribunal has to take into consideration. Whether the member is acting in good faith in making the application for seeking an order, and any evidence before it as to the involvement of any person other than directors or officers of a company on any of the matters provided, whether the cause of action is which the member or depositor could pursue in his own right rather than through an order under this section, any evidence before it as to the views of a member who have no personal interest, direct or indirect, in the matter being proceeded under this section, whether the cause of action is an act or omission that is yet to occur, whether the act or omission could be and in the circumstances would likely to be authorized by the company before it occurs or ratified by the company after it occurs, whether the cause of action is an act or omission that has already occurred, whether the act or omission could be and in the circumstances would likely to be ratified by the company. So the tribunal has to check whether the person who is making an application is acting in good faith, and is there any evidence to prove that, and whether this particular action can be done by his own powers and own right as a member. And in case the act is lawful but the person is saying that it is unlawful, this is because sometimes the act will provide that if any company makes any statement, enters into any agreement, such act can be ratified by the company after it occurs, because after it, that is okay, but it has to be authorized by particular person. Okay, now we are authorizing it, that is why the company can ratify it. And sometimes the company has entered into an agreement and it feels that it is against the laws, so it can stop it, authorized by the company before it is occurring. So it is stopped before it occurs. In case of admission of an application, if an application filed is admitted, then the tribunal shall have regard to the following, namely, public notice has to be served, and all similar applications prevalent in any jurisdiction shall be consolidated. 2 class actions for the same cause shall not be allowed. So 2 persons are applying for the same reason, not allowed. The cost and expenses connected with the application shall be defrayed by the company or any other person responsible for any oppressive act. And what is the remedy? Where the members or depositor seeks any damages or any other suitable action from or against an audit firm, the liability shall be of the firm as well as each partner who is involved in making any improper or misleading statements. So that is a remedy which can be claimed by the members. Order shall be binding on the member, depositors, auditors, company, expert, consultant, whoever is involved. Punishment for non-compliances. Company, if it fails, then 5 lakh rupees and up to 25 lakh rupees. Every officer in default. Imprisonment of 3 years. Fine which may not be less than 25,000 rupees, which may extend up to 1 lakh rupees. In addition to this punishment, penalties under 337 to 341, both inclusive, shall also be applied. Application filed is vexatious. Where any application filed before the tribunal is found to be vexatious, it shall, for reasons to be recorded in writing, reject the application and make an order that the applicant shall pay for opposite party such cost. It is saying if any person has made an wrongful application, he himself know that it is wrong, but he made an application to the tribunal and wasted the time of tribunal and the company out himself also, then such person has to pay cost which has been incurred up to 1 lakh rupees or as may be specified in the order. Exemption from application of section. Nothing contained in this section shall apply to a banking company. So this section 245 is not applicable to a banking company. So therefore, in examination, whenever a question has been asked about a class action suit, then banking company is excluded. Application of certain provisions proceeding to section 241 or 245. The provisions of sections 337 to 341, both inclusive, relating to winding up, shall apply mutatis mutandis in relation to the application made to the tribunal under the section 241 or 245. So it is saying that same as it is, it will apply here also. All the penalty provisions will apply here also for an application made before the tribunal. And then comes our test your knowledge part. Astita Private Limited is a company with 10 shareholders. A member holding less than 1/10 of the share capital of a company applied to the tribunal for relief against operational mismanagement. State whether a member have a right to apply to the tribunal in above situation. So this company is having 10 shareholders and a member with less than 1/10 of share capital applied to the tribunal. Whether this member application, whether this member have a right to apply. Let's go through these options first. A single member cannot apply to the tribunal for relief against oppression or mismanagement. Who said this? No. Not less than 100 or 1/10 of total shareholders, whichever is less. Here not less than 100 means the total shareholders itself is 10. 1/10 of that is 1. So he can apply. A member cannot apply as he is holding less than 1/10 of total share capital of a company. So this might be a valid reason because he is holding less than 1/10 of share capital. A member can apply being 1/10 of total number of members. Yes, he can. See, the conditions that are prescribed in the section 244 is or. It is not and. So the answer to this question is C. He can apply being 1/10 of the total number of members. Hope you are clear. Let's check this answer also. Hint, option C is correct because it is or but not A and D and. With whom will the central government file an application if it is of the opinion that such a scheme is not in public interest or in the interest of the creditors? So we knew that central government may suo motu file an application to the tribunal. So the answer is it may file an application before the tribunal, but not before the Parliament or Supreme Court. Descriptive questions. ABC Private Limited is a company in which there are 8 shareholders. Can a member holding less than one-tenth of the share of capital of a company apply to the tribunal for relief against operational mismanagement? Give your answer according to the provisions of Companies Act 2013. As per section 241, right of a member 241, but who can apply? Under 244, you need to write this both sections 241 and 244 both. And here we'll go through the conditions first. One-tenth of total shareholders, 108 by 10.8, it means 1. So 1 shareholder, total shareholders itself is 8, so there is no question of 100 shareholders minimum. So 1 is okay, and this he is holding less than one-tenth of total share capital. Even that is okay, because the condition is or yes, he can make an application before the tribunal for relief against oppression and mismanagement. Hope you are clear. The issued and paid up capital of MNC Limited is 5 crores, consisting of 5 lakh equity shares of 100 each. The said company has 500 members. So the total number of shareholders are 500. A petition was submitted before the tribunal signed by 80 members holding 10,000 equity shares of a company for the purpose of relief against oppression and mismanagement by the majority shareholders. Examining the provisions of Companies Act, decide whether the said petition is maintainable. Also explain the impact of the maintainability of the above petition if subsequently 40 members who have signed the petition withdrew their consent. See, even if you don't know the provisions of this act, you can barely write this question, because the question itself is asking that what if the subsequently the members are reduced to 40. It means this application made by the before 80 is valid now, because of which what if question has arisen. Come, let's go through the answer quickly. Very simple question. Writes 100 members or one-tenth of total shareholders or members not holding not less than one-tenth of total issued capital. Therefore, the petition alleging operational mismanagement has been made by some members or as follows. Number of members making is 80. Amount of share capital held is 10 lakhs. The petition shall be valid if it has been made by the following: 100 or 50 members being one-tenth of 500, or members holding 5 lakh share capital, that is being one-tenth of total share capital. So 50, 80. So it is valid. 50 members, but minimum is 50, but the petition has been filed by 80. As it is evident, the petition made by 80 members meets the eligibility criteria specified, as it exceeds the minimum requirement of 50 in this case. Therefore, the petition is maintainable. The consent to be given by the shareholders is reckoned at the beginning of the proceedings. The withdrawal of consent by the shareholders during the proceedings shall not affect the maintainability of proceedings. Hope you are clear. This is a dealt in Rajahmundry Electric Corporation versus V. Nageswarrao AIR. Hope you are clear. Such a simple question, you need to understand this small thing. Because this petition made by 80 members is valid, the question is asking what if the members fall into 40. So even if you don't know the provisions of this section, you can easily identify this. Then comes question number 3. A group of shareholders consisting of 25 members decide to file a petition before the tribunal for relief against operational mismanagement by the board of directors of Fly By Night Operators Limited. The company has total 300 members, and a group of 25 members hold one-tenth of the total paid up share capital, accounting to 1/5 of the issued share capital. The main grievance of the group is due to the mismanagement by the board of directors. The company is incurring losses, and the company has not declared any dividend even when profits were available in the past years for declaration of dividend. In the light of provisions of Companies Act 2013, advise a group of shareholders regarding the success of getting the petition admitted and obtaining relief from the tribunal. Blindly, you can say that the petition made by these 25 members is not maintainable, because declaration of dividend cannot be, not declaring dividend by a company cannot be considered as oppression. Hope you are clear. We have read this in the very beginning of this chapter. Let's go through the answer also. Again, this 244 section has been written: 100 shareholders, 1/10 of total number of shareholders, 1/10 of total share capital. This has been given. However, let's read this conclusive part. The tribunal may, on an application made to it, waive all or any of the requirements so as to enable the members. Even this is okay. As regards obtaining relief from tribunal, continuous losses cannot by itself be regarded as oppression. Okay. Similarly, failure to declare dividends or payout of low dividend also doesn't amount to oppression. Thus, the shareholders may not succeed in getting any relief from the tribunal. Hope you are clear with this question. Let's pass on to our last question, question number 4. A group of members of XYZ Limited has filed a petition before tribunal alleging various acts of oppression and mismanagement by the majority shareholders of a company. The petitioner group holds 12% of the issued share capital of a company. During the pendency of the petition, some of the petitioner group holding about 5% of issued share capital wish to disassociate themselves from the petition, and they, along with other majority shareholders, have submitted before the tribunal that the petition may be dismissed on the grounds of non-maintainability. Explain their contention having regard to the provisions of Companies Act. We already know that subsequent reduction in the number of members cannot be treated as non-maintainability of the conditions under section 244. Therefore, the petition filed by these other members, other majority shareholders, is not valid, because subsequent reduction cannot invalidate the petition already filed. Let's go through the answer quickly. The argument of the majority shareholder that a petition may be dismissed on the grounds of non-maintainability is not correct. Same case law, Rajahmundry Electric Corporation versus V. Nageswara Rao. The Supreme Court case law has already been discussed in the previous question also. That if some of the consenting members have, subsequent to the presentation of a petition, withdrew their consent, it would not affect the right of an applicant to proceed with the application. Thus, the validity of the petition must be judged on the facts as they were at the time of presentation. Neither the right of applicants to proceed with the application nor the jurisdiction of tribunal to dispose it of on its merits can be affected by events happening subsequent to the presentation of petition. Hope you people have revised it along with me, and if you want me to go even slower, please comment, and if you are not clear about any particular point, please comment below. Hope we are done with this chapter also, oppression and mismanagement. And that's it with the prevention of oppression and mismanagement study material. We'll discuss again on this chapter in compiler part. I will find out what are the questions that has been given in our previous question papers. Till then, take care. Bye bye. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Bye bye.